Good morning, everybody. Christine Williams here to present you with the 19 Secrets to Real Estate Success Revealed. So I'm going to give you 19 things for you to think about, and that's a whole lot of scramble that can go on in your brain, let's be honest. So what typically, ideally, you want to do with every training is to take away at least 3 things that you will truly commit to implementing to enhance your business. So some of these, or most of them, are not new. You've probably heard of them before, whether you're new or you've been in the business for 4 or 5 years or 15. So this course is for everybody, especially we're here in early November. This is a great time of year to, let's call it what it is, get back to the basics and to really dial in to create our business for next year. So let's begin. Let me get our presentation. Here we go, folks. So again, the 19 secrets to real estate success. So this is an HGTV, right? So as the famous Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. So go figure out what someone else has done and go model it. Maybe you want to shadow them in the industry, study them. If they're a top person, maybe you want to attend their seminars, maybe read their books. But whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, somebody else has already been there before you. So go and follow what the successful people are doing to create your business if they're already doing what you want to achieve. So we know it's not HGTV, right? So number 1, everybody hates this word, but you have to have a database. How are you going to keep in touch with everybody? So your database, boom, is actually your business plan. So I realize this is a tiny little screen here, but let's just dial right into the middle. One thing that I hear as a real estate coach often is, well, I don't know anybody. You know, I was in the corporate world and I went to work and I went home every day, or I've just relocated to the area. I just don't know anybody. You know, I don't go out much. Well, that's hogwash, peeps. I'm just going to call it what it is. So we all know what they say is each of us knows on average about 288 people on a first name basis. So don't shut down right now. Let's think about that. So down in the very middle, your allied resources. So who are the people that you are doing business with, i.e. spending money with? So what about your vet, if you have pets? Your personal trainer, your hairstylist. If you have like a spa or massage membership, your masseuse, the person who, if you do have yard work or if you have a termite bond, your pest control company, your landscaper. If you have house cleaning services, your housekeeper is going to come in once a month or every 2 weeks. Your dentist. All of these people that you do business with have to have a home. So they know other people as well who are going to need real estate services at some point. So we'll start right there. Start making a list, rack your brain of people that you do business with and spend money with. So over here on the left, 4 database rules. You got to have one. That's the beginning. You have to have one. So if you don't have a CRM system, I don't care if you use Google, if you use SurveyMonkey, I don't care what you use. You don't have to spend money to have a database. Communicate with it systematically. So what does that mean? You have to set up a schedule of how you're going to contact people and make sure it's a system that gives you reminders. Even again, if it's just your phone or your Google or your Gmail. Feed it daily. This doesn't mean go ahead and drop 100 people in there and you're done. That means you need to add ideally about 10 people a day into your database. And then obviously you service all the leads. Before the call this morning, I literally was updating my list of 2018 leads, following up to see who perhaps went ahead and did their transaction without me, who is still out there. Maybe they're waiting to get pre-qualified, but I was working my leads for the year to see if who I need to reach out to over the next couple of days. So here's the trick. Or the key, should I say. There are no tricks. Be a service provider, not a salesman. So you want to provide a service. We're not sitting there preaching our services. I'm sure we all see this on social media, which is another slide later on. Hey, who do you know? Well, guys, you're begging for business. We don't beg for business. Be a service provider. Think about providing tips in your emails or your phone calls, or if you're texting back and forth, real estate tips, or even tips in the community. Maybe there's a new restaurant opening up, but provide a service. Perhaps you want to mention home maintenance tips for this time of year. So like we said, your database is your business plan. Without a database, you're going to be out of real estate quickly. And speaking of, in real estate, you've got actually two businesses, the lead generation business and the real estate business. And it's kind of common sense, if you aren't lead generating, you don't have a real estate business, because without the people, you have nothing. So what's the best way to build your database? Again, over here on the left, we talked about systematically and daily. Drop 5 to 10 people. My recommendation obviously is 10 into your database every day. Make sure you have their email, their phone number, preferably a physical address as well in case you want to do mailers later. But you've got to have it and build it daily. What are your goals for a database? Ideally, you want to have at least 1,000 people in there, and that's not that daunting, guys. If you add 10 a day, 5 days a week, that's 50, so that's 200 a month. So you can have a database of over 1,000 people within a year. So database first, that's where we start. Lead with revenue. This is where I get on my soapbox, I swear. So you want to lead with revenue, not expenses. So many people go out and go buy leads, right? Zillow, Realtor.com, Market Leader, List a Lead. There's a gazillion resources, and we all get bombarded with those telemarketing calls all day long to go buy lead systems. So don't do it. You can create a reputable and profitable real estate business without buying leads. So it is truly a myth that to earn business, you must spend money. Wrong, 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 wrong. Personally, all of my real estate business derives from social media, because I'm on there all day long. I don't post a lot of personal pictures of myself, which may be the wrong thing to do. People like to see you. I do post personal things on there. I was recently out of town with my family. They want to be able to connect to you as a human. And I post a lot of informative business things through my personal page. Again, this isn't a social media class, so we'll drop it right there. But quit buying things. Avoid all those shiny objects, all of those text messages and those emails promising you the next best thing since sliced bread to get you business. It's garbage. It's all the same stuff. Don't do it. Real estate is about creating relationships so that people trust you and believe in you and want to do business with you, or they at least trust you enough to send you their coworker or their friend or their sister. There's no shortcut. It takes time. It takes leads. Numero 3, speaking of leads, lead generation. 2 to 3 hours a day. That sounds just like a big mountain to climb, right? This does not mean that you have to make phone calls 3 hours a day. This means the full lead generation includes the calls or the text messages or the emails. A real estate contact is an interactive two-way conversation between two people about real estate. That's all. So if you just send out a blast email, that doesn't count. All those people that respond back, even if it's just, hey, thank you, don't know anybody right now, then at least you've reached out to them and they've responded back. So it's consistency and persistence. Remember, we said it takes time to build this business. So the breakdown over here on the left of the 3 hours is your prep time. I really obviously recommend that you do the prep time the day before, the night before, or what have you. But you need to know who you're calling or who you're reaching out to. Is it 10 people on Facebook? Is it 10 people on LinkedIn? Is it 10 past customers? Is it 10 real life friends? So who and then how? Is it literal phone calls, which obviously are the best? However, in today's world, people don't answer their phone anymore. So is it by text? Is it by social media message? And I'm not talking about just blasting a post out there about interest rates dropping. That's not prospecting. This is one-on-one. And then 2 hours of actually doing it, of making those contacts, and then putting them in your database. So after you make the contact, if they're not already in your database with their information, you need to put them in there. And then it also includes sending them a power note, by the way. and then 30 minutes of follow-up. So the follow-up is, again, that's the database piece and writing the little note. So your 2 to 3 hours is not making phone calls for 3 hours, you know, to reach 10 people. It's all those different pieces. And of course, if you don't have any business, what else are you going to do anyway, right? Get caught up on your Netflix? Number 4, moving right along, find an accountability partner or coach, somebody like myself. But there's all types of accountability partners. You can have, maybe it's your broker, maybe you're on a team, so maybe it's somebody on your team, maybe it's the team leader, maybe it's your spouse if you guys are doing business together. But have an accountability partner, somebody who will hold you accountable for your actions or inactions, actually. What do you think of when you hear the word accountability? It's like, oh Lord, that means I, you know, have to be responsible for my actions. Well, we do. We own our own real estate business. Remember, and we see this all over social media these days, and I think I posted it or I liked somebody's this morning, you are the average of the top 5 people that you associate with. So what this means is align yourself with people who, again, like we said in the first screen, who are already doing the successful things that you want to do, or at least people who are growing along the same path. This doesn't mean to be a snob and cut people out of your life. However, it does mean invest time in the people who are on the same professional and personal growth path as you are. If there are people who are maybe jealous of where you're headed or where you want to be, they're going to hold you back. And guys, that's just human nature, and it happens to all of us. I have really taken stock this year, most in particular in the last 2 or 3 months. And I've been hurt and disappointed by people that I thought were genuine friends. And some of them, frankly, are in real estate. And they have betrayed me. They have let me down in all kinds of ways. And so I've had to take stock of that and recognize them for who they are. And they're still on my social media, and I'll still interact with them, but they're not going to be a part of my life anymore. Same holds true in your professional world. And since we're mid-November, now's the time to take a look at who you're affiliated with your brokerage. I'm not suggesting that you go make a change, but I'm saying if you're not happy, and it's not because you're just being lazy, if something is not aligning between you and your brokerage, if you don't feel the synergy, you don't feel connected, or you don't feel that the brokerage goals are in alignment with your personal goals, because it really needs to be about you, then maybe it's time to make a change. So the 2 evils in life we say are boredom and isolation. The boredom we can handle. So the boredom is, that can be a temporary thing. Isolation is so easy in this industry, right? Many of us work from home, so it's so easy to get isolated. You see, obviously I'm in my living room right now, so hopefully you don't have too much of a glare. So most of us work from home, so it's so easy for us, right? The whole rest of the world is in their offices with their people, and we're home alone, to isolate ourselves. So don't do that. Make sure, for instance, after our webinar here today, I'm going to a realtor networking luncheon. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be, you know, just a sales pitch or a waste of my time, but it's supposed to be a true networking interaction where we're sharing marketing ideas with each other. So that's the synergy that I'm talking about. And that's the way to stay connected to what's going on in the world and to just be around humans for a little bit. So make that a part of your work week as well. So let's go back to, and let's see if I'm picking up where we left off here. Pray. So yes, so moving right along to what are we on? Number 5, trying to jump ahead. Define your standards and your systems. So what does this mean? So you've got to think about, let's dig in a little deeper then. So what you allow for yourself is what you accept from others, guys. We teach people how to treat us. You have to communicate your expectations and your availability. Are you truly available 24/7 to answer all those Zillow leads or realtor.com or whatever comes through your text message or your email inbox? Because if so, when are you going to sleep? When will you shower? And I was just recently guilty of this, so let me own up to that. Everybody knows I get up early and I go to bed early. So it had gotten to the point where I had people, customers and friends that I was working with, if I post my little positive meme on social media at 5 o'clock in the morning, well, they know Christine's up, so guess what they were doing? They were texting me, I swear to God, before 6 o'clock in the morning because they knew I was up. It was work stuff. You should really start your day all about you early in the morning. That first hour of the day needs to be about you. If you have children or a spouse or whatever, you need to get up early enough so that that first part of the day is all about you. Get your mind right, get your body right, drink your coffee, your tea, do your exercise, sit outside alone, whatever it is you need to do for you to get grounded for the day. Because if you're not well, you can't go serve people all day. So that's number one, is I had to take back control of my mornings because my mornings are for me. Yes, I get up early. That's to get my mind right so I don't feel like a crazy person throughout the day, right? When everybody's needing us. Because we know that they're going to grab us about 9 o'clock. So so another piece of that is I have on my outgoing voicemail on my phone, which of course nobody leaves voicemails, but I have it there. I have on my email signature my work hours. It says that I will respond to you between the hours, I believe it says 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. is my cutoff. And it said that if it's after 7 or Sundays, I will respond to you on the following business day. Guys, you've got to let people know what your work hours are. And if they want to email you or text you at 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever your cutoff time is, then don't respond because you've told them when you're done with your workday. So unless you are negotiating an offer or a counteroffer or a home inspection or something that has a deadline that night, which by the way, according to our contract, 7 p.m. is the end of the workday here in the Jacksonville, Florida area. So keep that in mind as well. But in any event, if you're negotiating back and forth, that's the only time that you need to be available after hours. There are no real estate emergencies unless the darn house, God forbid, is burning down. So they can wait to respond to you during your workday, but you have to communicate that to them up front. So let's not talk about past clients or customers, depending on if you're a transaction broker or whatnot, or single agent. It's the same thing. It's talking about 88% versus 12%. What that means is 88% of people who were surveyed by the National Association of Realtors said they would use their same realtor again, but only 12% really do. So why do you think that is? Because we don't keep in touch with them with that database and the ongoing relationship after the closing. I'm not even going to get into work-life balance. There is no such, other than, again, you have to define your standards and your systems. We'll talk a little later about your day. You have to create your work schedule. You have to map out time for your family and personal things as well. You are the CEO of your own business. So your successes and your fails are completely up to you. So don't complain about the things that you're going to tolerate, that you will tolerate, such as responding to people at 3 o'clock in the morning because you were up. Number 6, create your MVVBP. What am I talking about here? So let's just go one by one on this. It's your mission, your vision, your values, your beliefs, and your perspective. I don't know of very many real estate agents that do this. So everybody's just running around, grabbing at straws or letting everybody know they're in real estate and just taking what comes their way. Let's not do that. Let's be purposeful. So why don't you at least, hopefully this will be one of your 3 things at least, if you're not going to do all 19, to focus on between now and the end of the week, which would be tomorrow. So maybe have it done by Monday, is think about who you are. What do you bring to the table as a real estate agent? What differentiates you from, again, in Jacksonville, we've literally got over 9,000 realtors that are part of the board. So what is it about you that would make somebody want to work with you? So that brings us to another point. Are you showing up as a professional, and would you hire you? So think about who you are, what you represent, and figure out how to communicate that, because clarity is power. So there's masses of people that people can work with in real estate, right? So what is setting you apart? You want to attract people that have the same vision and the same professionalism or whatever it is that you represent. You want the same people to work with. You don't want the crazies. Agreed? So social media, and again, gosh knows, we all know this could be a whole class for a whole month, right? So be purposeful about your social media. You don't want just the low-hanging fruit, and you don't want the chat bots and all those other things that are giving you false leads, right? So you've got to be purposeful with your social media. So some things to think about is, who's your audience? So one thing I want you guys to think about And I get this all the time, so I'm not speaking to anybody on here in particular, but I'm sure we all get this too, right? We get invitations to like other people's real estate business pages. Well, we're in real estate. Why do we want to be connected to our competition on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever the heck it is that you use? The purpose of social media is to get business for ourselves. So why don't you make sure that you're being purposeful about who you connect with on social media? Only invite non-real estate agents to your business page, because anything you're putting out there, they can steal, share, whatever you want to call it, and use that to go get the same people you're trying to get. The purpose of social media is to attract people to bring us business. So start thinking about how you're using social media. Again, be authentic, know your audience. Do you want just anybody who wants to buy a house in your area? Are you trying to attract a certain type of folks, maybe first-time home buyers, maybe just people that live at the beach? But start thinking about that as you create your post for business. So again, we can talk about this forever. One tip that I'll give you on this, as I'm looking at my notes, of course, is for every 4 personal posts, you're going to want to post a business post. So the other thing to think about is make sure that there's a way that they can engage. Ask a question. I did one, not even about real estate, over the weekend. I guess it was Sunday. Supposedly it's National Sandwich Day, because every day is a new day for something, right? And so I asked people what their favorite sandwich was. So that went on for days. So get people to interact and engage with you. And then the other trick is you can't just do a little emoji and like their comments. You have to actually respond back. And that keeps your posts engaged higher up in the SEO and the algorithms. So just wanted to share that quick little social media tip as we roll along. Let me get back to the right screen. So moving on to, what are we on, number 7? Try to roll through this for you guys. Or number 8. Good, we're already on number 8. Be learning based and action focused. So there's a catch-22 here. So I want everybody to always go to training. It makes me shudder as a real estate educator, because I own a real estate school and I'm a real estate coach, own a coaching company, and then I'm a realtor, so I engage in real estate business. It scares me when I hear people say, well, I've already been in that class, or I've done all the training I need to do in my first 90 days. I don't need to have training anymore. BS, you do. Our industry changes every day, almost literally, with interest rates and new laws being created and all this stuff. So keep going to training always. I know here in the Jacksonville area, and I used to work in Tallahassee, so the same thing there. Our contracts changed about once every 2 years. So I still, 21 years in the business, go to contract training about every 2 years. The darn thing changes. So I'm not talking about just your CEs, but go and get other trainings, things that interest you. I am an avid fan of going to social media classes these days, because it's just an endless resource for business, and things change all the time. So I don't want to lose my grip on using that as my free marketing tool. But the flip side is, number 2, don't be a professional student. There's a difference in learning and being a perpetual student, as I say, so that you don't take action. So you don't have to master the subject. Number 4, pardon me, you have to just know it enough to go out and go take action. You're going to learn more from real life experience. And also develop the skill of active listening, of course. Salespeople, so often, as we know, we want to show our value, right? We just talked about creating your mission and your value statement. So the salespeople often fall into the trap of talking too much. So better salespeople sit back a little bit and ask questions, and what I call peel back the onion layers, right? So people are going to tell you something on the surface, and that's not the full answer. So when they tell you something, particularly in the buyer consultations and listing appointments, whatever they're telling you here is their excuse or the way for you not to get to them, to sell them. So after that question, it could be as simple as, tell me more about that, and then let them talk. Interesting. So why is that important to you? So you've got to peel back the layers by asking questions versus talking more. Let's move along here. Gosh, I'm getting hoarse already, guys. Moving on. Number 9, track your business early and often. This is where a lot of us fail, and I am always striving to get better at this myself. You got to know your numbers. Numbers are boring. That's where a coach such as myself can help you out. I'm not here to sell you on the program. If you're interested, we'll talk later. However, the company that I'm affiliated with has created a literal 6-figure tracking system. It's not about the people, the contacts that you make. It is about your activities. It tracks your open houses, your listing appointments, and your conversion rates. So it will let you know if you're putting the numbers in on a consistent basis. Maybe for you, it takes talking to 15 people to get a lead. And then of all those leads you get, maybe you get 8 leads that month and 2 of them go to contract. So it helps you convert your ratios so that you don't have to do that on some kind of Google spreadsheet or something. But you need to know what your conversion rates are. That way you need to know, do you need to talk to 10 people this afternoon when you get off this call? Or do you only need to talk to 2? What is your personal conversion rate? How many appointments do you need? All that jazz. So you need to know, obviously, to be able to move forward as we go into, gosh, a new decade, guys, you need to know where you've been. So you've got to know your numbers. There's just no way around it. It's not fun, but it's just a fact of owning your business. Treat your business like a business. Like I said earlier, how are you showing up? Are you, do you have a plan for the day? Are you somebody that you would hire for yourself? How are you representing yourself during the workday, when you're out in public, on social media? Are you following a routine? People in the corporate world, they have a routine. They have to be there at 7:30 or 9 o'clock or whatever it is, and their workday ends at 5 or 6 or whatever. So how are you showing up? Are you showing up as somebody that just wants a $2,000 paycheck every once in a while at random? Or are you showing up as somebody who deserves to earn 6 figures? Would you hire yourself? So the purpose of a real estate business is to fund, I don't really care for the word perfect life, right? Because nothing's perfect in this world, but your ideal life. In order to have that, you have to be serious about real estate, whether you're doing it full-time or part-time. It's not a hobby. So think about how you're showing up, guys. We've already talked about this, associate with like-minded people, so I'm just going to drop this real quick as we move on. Remember, who you're in business with matters. So we've already said this is in regards to the people in your personal life. Maybe they're secretly jealous, or maybe it's not even so secret. I've been watching some interesting things going on with people I associate with and having to shuffle people around. So what about your brokerage? What about the team you're on if you are? So think about all that. So you either are going to associate with people who are going to build you up and encourage and support you, or folks who are going to tear you down, whether it's secret or not. We've all seen that, that little post, right, where, you know, be careful who's in your boat. Are they rowing with you, or are they, you know, putting the holes in the boat to help you drown? So think about who you're associating with, guys. Enough on that. I've harped on it all day. So moving right along. And guys, I'm recording this, so you're welcome to watch it after. I'll send it to you if you'd like. And I also have just a little worksheet with these 19 things just listed. Listing presentation. So here's my thing on this, my takeaway for listings. Ideally, there's 3 L's to a good real estate business: leads, listings, and leverage. So obviously you want to master listing presentations, right? So here's the thing. Some of us love sellers and some of us love buyers. So I'm not here to tell you how to run your business. Statistically speaking, if you are stronger at getting listings, you will have better time management, if there is such a thing, and you'll be able to work with more people, and you will be able to create leads from the listings. Because we all know, and this is the hardest part we have explaining to you for sell by owners perhaps, is they're like, well, just bring me a buyer. Well, no, Mr. and Mrs. for sell by owner. My marketing is what creates the buyers. And I have a real life testimonial on that going on right now. I have a friend's condo listed, and I hate open houses. That I shouldn't use the word hate, but I'm not a fan of open houses personally. It's a lot of work to do it right. And you may or may not get anybody in that day, right? So in any event, open houses are a great resource for leads. Heads up, especially if you don't have your own listings. So I always do at least one open house on my own listings these days. I've changed my mindset because we know it's going to make the seller happy anyway. So this particular condo listing I got, gosh, maybe it's 3 weeks ago now. So I've marketed it on social media for 2 weeks. So in any event, we'll talk about how to do open houses some other day. But I ended up with several sets of buyers, and they didn't have realtors. So I truly got a set of buyers and ended up you know, what will hopefully be a birthday sale, the buyers for that particular condo after I show them 2 days worth of condos. So we know that if you have listings, that's where the leads come from. So whether it's from a free open house, I didn't spend any money on that other than some snacks, some water and some cookies, I think. Marketing can be super free or inexpensive these days. So if you want to have better time management, they say, generally speaking, you can work with 12 sellers simultaneously and only 8 buyers. And that's about the max before you have to bring in an assistant or a transaction coordinator or somebody. It's up to you though. But listings is how you'll create a more sustainable business without losing your mind. Buyers are a lot of work. Objections. Ugh. Scripting and objection handling. We all hate this, right? I mean, it's not my favorite thing for sure. I don't even like the word scripts. However, it is important to know what to say and how to say it right. So you can go on YouTube. If you're part of my coaching program, I do provide you with a 38-page script book for many different situations. But anyway, you've got to at least practice and practice and practice. So, and then once it flows from whatever script you want to use, whatever coach you want to use, then I'm certainly okay with you internalizing it and personalizing it. That way it sounds more like a conversation. But maybe this is one of the 3 things you can work on. As much as we hate it, you got to dial in. I've had people tell me they don't want to go make phone calls because they don't know what to say. So how are you going to run your real estate business? So why don't you focus on this thing down here in the bottom left? Why don't you work on having responses to the top 5 objections? So I'm sure we can all talk about, oftentimes they want to negotiate our commission. So maybe you have a way to overcome that, or maybe you want to learn how, whatever your commission is, your rate is that you charge, you want to learn how to show your value to earn that full commission. So just think about things like that. So maybe again, that's one of the 3 you want to use on the takeaway. Moving right along to the next item here. This might keeps popping up on my little Facebook. Well, notifications. Number 14. Know your local market better than anyone. Well, that sounds like a task, doesn't it? So be the local economist of choice. So study your MLS. So what are some other things you can do, guys, to know the market? Because we're going to run into Publix or whatever grocery store you use. And if you're wearing your name tag, people are going to go, oh gosh, you're in real estate? Well, how's the market? First of all, we always say it's fantastic or it's amazing, because it can be amazingly wonderful or amazingly bad, right? So just stop it right there. Don't ever be negative. But you want to be able to at least have a general conversation about what's going on. So a couple of ways you can do this are Florida Realtors, National Association Realtors, Inman News. There's so many resources that we have access to, and you can just subscribe to the daily feeds through your inbox, by the way. So that's what I do. So that's how you know when the laws have changed, when some financing situations have changed, whatnot, and then statistics on whatever city you're in. So at least know that. For instance, Florida was just named as the 8th, it came out this morning. Oh, the 8th best state for taxes, as far as overall taxes, the best value for taxes. So that's something you can share on social media or having that conversation with somebody. The other thing is, I think most MLS systems will provide you with monthly reports on the statistics. NEFAR here in Northeast Florida gives us it's usually a 51 to 55 page report. And it gives you the first 20 to 22 pages are the general statistics, all the way down to the percentage of homes that have sold over asking price, which we know is an indication of a seller's market and competing offers. It tells you the percentage of homes, what the selling price is versus the original asking price. That talks about price reductions. And then it breaks it down by the MLS region, because we know in a city such as this, in Jacksonville, 840 square miles, that things are vary. Remember, real estate is local in nature. So the beaches is going to have a very different real estate market than over there somewhere in Clay County. So you need to study these reports. And I'm going to encourage you to take it a step further and look at these reports and do a quick little 3-minute video instead of just saying on Facebook, hey, if you want to have a CMA for your neighborhood, email me, or let me email it to you. Why don't you do a general breakdown, a video, and then say, hey, if you want more details, let me know. That way you have a call to action, but you've got a video letting them know that you're the expert on your numbers. You guys taking notes on this? So moving right along. Number 15, guys, set your goals and create a plan. I cannot stress this enough. 21 years in the business, I promise you, I create a written plan every year. I create a monthly plan, and I'm okay, and I actually do revisit mine, and I do change it and update it throughout the month. I also look to see, oh, I said I was gonna be doing that every day, and I haven't done that yet. So forgive yourself for what you don't do and just start from today. Like, what's today, the 7th? Is that right, the 6th or the 7th? So even if you start from today to do November's plan, I'm totally cool with that. So a goal that's not written down is just a wish list. Stop being realistic and reasonable. I want you to shoot for the stars, because if you aim higher, you won't let yourself down if you don't meet the goal. So I want you to get that out of your mindset. But the higher you shoot, the higher you'll achieve. It's just that simple. And success is boring. It's not sexy, as we say. Real estate can be very boring day in and day out. There may be whole days where you don't get a return phone call. You don't get to talk to a human. But keep your business plan right in front of you at all times. Keep looking at it. And we're talking about chunking it down. I said make a annual goal, make a monthly goal, and then make your daily goals. You got to break it down. You guys should see my my phone. Actually, I have it right here. I do practice this part because I want to teach you guys right. So, and it helps me have an organized business as well. Let me find my calendar for you and see if I can show it to you real quick. I do time block my calendar. See that? So that doesn't mean that I'm running around. This webinar has been on my calendar for a month. I usually plan a month out in advance. In other words, the last week of November, I'll go ahead and plan out all of December. So you got to chunk your goals down so you know where you are and where you need to be, right? It's just that simple. So create a business plan. I do business planning workshops and clinics, by the way, guys, too. So if you're interested in that, we can get a group together, or if you have a space, then we can get vendors or your brokerage. I do those as well through my real estate school. So keep your goals in front of you. Revisit, redo them if you need to, readjust based on market conditions or whatever's going on in your life. Time blocking ninja, I just showed you what that looks like. Here's the key to that, a few keys. First of all, what I want you to do is you create, if you haven't done your November calendar, then you need to do that when you get off the phone. Please, 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 not for me, for you. First thing you're gonna put in there, look at that. Personal stuff, family and vacation time. What are you working for if you were gonna work so hard that you're gonna alienate the people that are important to you in your life? They are first priority. So whatever your family time is, if it's little Susie Q's dance recitals every Wednesday, if it's Johnny's soccer practice every Saturday morning, if it's just a full day off with the family on Sundays, whatever it is, that goes first. That's non-negotiable, guys. The other non-negotiables are trainings. Those of you that are here, you showed up for this. You made a commitment to be here for training, and you're here. So you had to time block an hour out of your life. I told you it's going to be an hour. We're going to be close to. So first family, and then what we call the non-negotiables. If there's a planned networking event, or like I said, anything training where somebody else has dictated the time, block that out first. Then you put in your prospecting time. And I'm really not here to tell you what time of day to do that. I think you'll need to negotiate and play around with that. They say do it first thing in the morning so that you know you do it. But let's be realistic. Everybody's at work during the day, or most people. So maybe you want to do an hour in the morning and maybe 2 hours in the afternoon. I don't care. But figure out what works for you, but put in your prospecting time, and then whatever's left over, that is your time for the other activities. So when somebody says, hey, I'd like to go see a house at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Well, maybe 5 o'clock on Wednesday isn't good for you. So you need to leave out open slots, that time blocking. Some of those were open slots. So those are the times when I am available to show homes. I was out of town for 2 days this week, and I told my buyer I'll be available Wednesday afternoon, which is which was yesterday, or Friday. I actually have time blocked activities, but I also had an open space in there to show homes. So that's how you create a calendar. Let's get back here to our little slides. guys doing okay? So we always say there's never enough time in the day to do things. We all have the same amount of time. It's a matter of how you prioritize your activities. So does your calendar reflect your goals? And then this last little tidbit here, if you erase, you must replace. So let's just say, we know this happens, it's real estate, the best laid plans, you got your calendar, whatnot, and you've got somebody in from out of town and that just throws your schedule off. That's okay. Take care of that because that's going to probably be a money-making activity. So whatever you have gotten rid of to accommodate their needs, those out-of-town buyers that have to buy this week, then replace it on some other time frame. Got that? Live in abundance, not scarcity. What do I mean about this? Excuse me. So again, it goes back to treating people, how to treat us, having the right mindset. You weren't given a vision to succeed in real estate, guys, if you weren't equipped to do so. So we can either live in faith or fear. And we've seen all these memes as well. So are you holding yourself back from where you want to be? Yes, there are obstacles. There's 9,000 agents. There's a lot of competition. There are people that can't get pre-qualified because their credit sucks. There are obstacles, but are you using those as excuses and pulling yourself down to be smaller and smaller? Or are you dismissing those or saying not just living in the moment and not using those as excuses to slow yourself down? So are you living out of fear? Oh my God, I can't do this. I'm broke. Got to go get a job. Or are you saying, I can do this. I know I can do this. I've gotten off track. There's things I can do to get better. So you get to decide if you're going to move forward or not. And we know this, you can have reasons or results, but you can't have both. So what excuses are you telling yourself for the reason that you're not where you're supposed to be? So it's time for some truth telling. So moving right along, we're about to wrap up and then I'll open it up for questions in a few minutes. Number 18, we've already talked about your vision and your mission and all that jazz. So really, I would love for you to think about this, especially like I said, this time of year, November. Now is a great time to start looking back at where you got your business, if you met your own goals, personal and professional. Who else are you letting down because maybe you didn't achieve your goals? We're mid-November, you have a month and a half left. Can you realize all of your 2019 goals? And if not, let it go and create a better vision for 2020 and figure out where you're headed. Create your roadmap. So you've got to be able to visualize it and then articulate it. So you've got to know what you want. You have to put it in writing, and then you need to be able to communicate it. And again, you're going to want an accountability partner for this, whether it's your spouse or coach or somebody on your team or what have you. But now's the time to start thinking about what you want to achieve personally and professionally, because I feel that it's all as one person. I don't feel like real estate is a career. I feel like it's a lifestyle, right? It all blends together. We can be doing laundry and having a webinar all at the same time. So think about what it is that you want moving forward. Forgive yourself if you didn't do what you wanted to do in 2019. We're done. We're already technically, this is, like I said, what is this, November 7th? So if you guys didn't realize this, in real estate, we're 90 days out. So if you get a new piece of business today, particularly if it's a buyer, then you're probably 90 days out from being at the closing table. By the time you do the buyer consultation and you show them homes and you lose out on a competing offer and you have to go back and show homes again, and then they have to get through their financing, et cetera. So technically, we're already into February, friends. So November to December, January, technically it's February 7th in our world. So we gotta get on this buggy and get our business plan done. So I'm not trying to frighten you. I'm trying to light a fire under you. Get it done. Create your vision, articulate it, include people in it. Number 19. Last but not least, as we always say, know your big why. And you know, this is the buzzword in our industry these days. And I will say, I believe the phrase was truly coined with Keller Williams, but everybody can use it. So what gets you out of bed? What makes you get up and do this crazy thing we call real estate day in and day out? Why are you here? In the pain of adversity, what keeps you going? We all have those setbacks. Again, I told you I was following up on leads I got. One was a referral from another realtor. And I realized that the seller, I got the lead. I think I looked back at the emails, May of 2018. So I've kept in touch with the people and the other realtor periodically. I won't say off and on, but periodically. I don't want to bug people. And the seller ended up telling us that her husband was very, very ill. So they were just going to stay put. They weren't going to sell. So before I reached out to her again today, because it's been months, I looked up in the tax record and I didn't even see it listed anymore. I didn't see the house like it even existed. So then I went to MLS and typed in the address. Lo and behold, those people listed it May of this year. So a year after I started communication with them, and dang if they didn't use somebody else. So I don't know what the reasoning was, but they lied to us and said they weren't moving. So go take assessment of your business, go take a look at what's going on, and move forward anyway. So it's like, darn it, that was a $200,000 sale that could have been mine, but it was never mine. I never even got face-to-face with them. So you need to know what's going to keep you going when you go, oh my God, that's a check I lost, you didn't lose it. So what keeps you going when things like that happen? Because it happens to all of us. We're never going to win them all. And people lie to us, they betray us in this business. Oh my gosh. So what is your why? What motivates you to do this crazy little roller coaster thing called real estate? And like I said before, who else is sacrificing if you don't make your goals? Are you letting your child down? Did you promise her a Disney cruise and now you can't afford it because you are down about $18,000 in income this year? You got to pull back a little bit. And then keep asking, why is this your why? Maybe your why changes. Like I said, I've taken stock of, hopefully I've done a lot of self-reflection this year, and I've had to take stock of people in my life, had to take stock of my finances, which weren't where they were supposed to be this year, and reassess things and recreate new goals. So don't think logically. I want you to feel. Emotion is what makes us act as well as what makes our buyers and sellers act. So how are you participating in your day-to-day real estate life and also in your personal life? So it's a lot of things to think about. A lot of this is philosophical and a lot of this is just activities you can engage in. But I kind of want to open up the floor as we start to wrap up. Does anybody have any questions or comments or need clarification or anything you want to share success using some of these tools like time blocking or a database that has helped you in your business?
Am I free to speak?
Yes, please.
Cool. I didn't know this was amazing, by the way. And I'm already going to say, you live in Jacksonville, clearly?
Yes. And where are you?
I'm up in Atlantic Beach.
Oh, awesome.
So
I'm right around the corner.
I would love to meet face to face and maybe line up some things to because this is just getting more organized in general is what I need more definitely as in help with. I'm about a year in deep, but this was amazing. So I thank you so much, Christine, for your time today. I kind of missed the first. I jumped in about 10 minutes late.
That's okay. I recorded it.
Cool.
So
Cool.
And I think I know your broker. I don't want to speak out of turn and tell your business, but if it's who I think it is, then I'm helping her too.
James.
Oh.
James. I'm with Florida Homes.
Oh, well, so am I. That's awesome. So the good news is, again, I'm not here to pitch and sell you. I'll look you up in MLS and get your email. The cool thing is James and I created a coaching program in-house. So it's a very affordable program. Yep. So, but I can meet with you one time and we'll just work together and see if you want to enter a relationship, but we've made it very affordable. So that's all I'm saying on that.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll let somebody else talk, Susan or, whoever else is in. But I just want to say thank you. I do have a ton of questions, but I would love to meet.
I'll get you we'll set up a time to meet next week. Absolutely. I appreciate that, Ben. Thanks for joining. Susan, did you have anything? Well, guys, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much. I had a ton of people that registered and said they were going to show up, and looks like you guys are the winners. So I hope this helps. Pardon?
Is it just a couple of us?
I think it was just the two of you, and I had, gosh, I think 9 people, and I even sent out the link to you guys this morning so you know how to find it. But hey, see what happens. That's where, don't worry about those 9,000 people in Jacksonville that have the real estate license. They're not doing anything. Please. It's the typical 20% doing 80% of the business. So there's enough.
And I'm a year into this, and I've already learned some hard things and how to, definitely I've lost out on a few things. I found out how cutthroat this you know, this career and this, you know, job is already. And, you know, I like kind of I like interest, you know, keep it spontaneous. But you know, thank you again. And I'd love to, meet with you next week. And please, you know, you have my email, I believe. I don't know.
I'll get it from MLS. I'll be able to get it, or through the registration. And yeah, cool. I've been licensed since 1996, and literally feel like I've lost a lot of business this year. However, I really didn't lose that listing I just told you guys about, because I never got in front of them. My only communication with them is by email. So I'm counting that. It was a lead because somebody gave it to me, but it was never mine. But I'm counting that as a lead that I didn't get, and I made a little note that they hired somebody else. So
I've had many of that happen to me.
It happens to all of us.
I've even lost buyers that went behind my back and used another realtor on a weekend that I said I was not available. And they looked at like 3 homes with another realtor, and they're like, hey, sorry. I'm like, what? And that was after like 2 months of looking with them and yada, yada.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's been interesting, but it's been fun too. I can't say that, you know, I like a challenge. So, and like I said, I just need to get my organization right now is kind of all over the place, as a new agent. So
that I promise you I can help you with.
And I definitely need some help with that. So I'll be looking forward to hearing back from you. And thank you again for your time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good Thursday. And you guys know how to reach me. So thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Christine.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.